Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, live listeners. Welcome, listeners in the future. Welcome, everyone, to episode 458 of the Massenomics podcast. We are the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded from all the corners of the Dakotas. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
Well, like I was saying, Tommy, we've got a full crowd of live listeners here today.
We do.
We got a full gamut of topics we're going to run through today.
I don't throw this out very often, but I kind of feel like we might be in for a silly goose time tonight. Fair warning.
I 457 turned into quite the silly goose time, so we'll see where 458 can take us, because 457 really took some wild turns.
It did.
I don't say this often, but in about 10 weeks from now, I will have forgot about episode 457, but sitting here just 1 week removed, 457 was a banger of an episode. If you haven't listened to last week's, what was the title of last week's? What was our title topic?
Episode 457 is, I think, what we call it.
That's what it was. Yes, it was episode 457. We talked about some good stuff in there, so I'm feeling a lot of pressure right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling a lot of pressure right now following that one up and here in 458.
Well,
but
let's knock these ads out, and then we'll get right to it. We don't got time to waste.
Okay. All right. This week's episode is brought to you by our fine friends over at Juggernaut AI. Juggernautai.app. That's the website. It's Chad Wisley Smith runs this thing. He created it. It's his principles of strength training that he utilizes. If you've read the book, Tommy and I have, it's written by him and Dr. Mike. It's a cool book. And then they came out with this training app that follows along with the training principles that you read about in that book. And from our anecdotal experience, it works. And it's actually worked for a whole bunch of people. There's thousands of people using it currently. You could be using it too by heading over to juggernautai.app. That's where you sign up. And when you sign up on the website, use discount code Massenomics, and that saves you 10% for the entire lifetime of the membership. So classic win-win-win scenario, juggernautai.app.
This episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Texas Power Bars have been our favorite powerlifting bar for damn near 10 years now. We have a wide collection of them at the Massenomics gym, ranging from the original Texas Power Bar to the Texas Deadlift Bar, the Texas Squat Bar, and even the Texas Cross Bar. All of those have been put through their paces and in a variety of colors, finishes, overall styles, and our rave reviews say these bars are awesome and you should have one in your gym too. If you head on over to TexasPowerBars.com, you can pick out any of those bars I just mentioned, or you can even go to their blend bars section and see some pretty hefty savings on a variety of the bars there, everything from the original Texas Power Bar to the Squat Bar, Bench Bar, and so on. So once again, head out over to TexasPowerBars.com and pick yourself up the Massenomics bar of choice. Thank you, Texas Power Bars.
Thank you, Texas Power Bars. I was just even trying to decide where we go first. I was about ready to say huge important announcement, and I don't even know. Oh, man. One of so many announcements. I guess one of them fresh off the press. This almost by the time the recording comes out will maybe possibly be completely irrelevant again, but our certified training facility packages are going to be restocked as of tomorrow. So they'll be restocked on Friday, January 10th. But I kind of think that we're going to, this was again, not intentional. We weren't trying, this is not a function of trying to create artificial demand of this. This just keeps exceeding our expectations. And I got a kind of a gut feeling now based on the reception that our reorder is even going to sell out in a day.
It seems like it right now. The signups, usually signups really trickle off after the first couple days. And here, I think the signups have only picked up as time has gone on. So,
right.
There's a lot of people that want that thing right now.
So we're going to put those out. if you're listening to this on, say, January 13th, which you might be, you're probably too late, actually. But if that's what happened, rest assured we're getting more coming again, because we're not trying to exclude people from this. We're trying to include people. That's what we're trying to do with the certified training facilities. Hot demand on that, though, huh?
Oh, crazy demand.
Yeah. All right, what's next? We could go anywhere, but I would just tell you, Tommy, you were just here. Did you know that Aberdeen got a Jersey Mike's?
I did know that. Yep. I was given advance notice on it. I talked to my brother about it. He said he ate there once or twice. Have you been there yet?
I haven't been there. Someone got me food from there.
So you've ate it, though.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've gone to the one in Sioux Falls here, so you're kind of a Jersey Mike's expert now.
Sioux Falls and Cedar Rapids.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes.
With Ryan Erickson.
Yep. I forgot about that
Iowa
one.
Ryan. Yeah, yeah. So I'm Jersey Mike's vet,
Living
actually.
the Jersey Mike life.
And here's my thing on Jersey Mike's. I've got a thing on Jersey Mike's now.
All right.
I think this is intentional, but their sizing, I
wrong.
hate the sizing of their subs.
They're like off by a half size on everything.
Yeah, there desperately needs to be a size in between the two that are there. I was talking to Ryan about this. I already thought this, and he actually even brought it up. And I'm like, yeah, that is exactly what's wrong. When you order the Jumbo Wumbo one or whatever, I'm like, okay, now I'm a glutton.
Well, and
you order just and you order just the regular one. I'm like, okay, now I'm still hungry. And for anyone that listens, I classically don't like a bag of chips and a soda. So like, I'm not like getting filler from a bag of chips or soda.
Well,
so
and if I had to
what I
compare
want is the sandwich.
If I had to compare it to Subway, I'd be like, if you went to Subway and your choices were a 4-inch sub, a 9-inch sub, or an 18-inch sub, you're like, okay, the 9-inch isn't quite enough, and the 18 is a lot of sub.
Yeah,
that's kind of where their sizing fits.
And I'm like, is that on purpose? Because it seems so obvious to me that it's wrong.
Yeah, it just seems weird that they wouldn't just bump them all up and just charge you a couple more dollars and be like, no, this is our new sizing now.
Right. But is it like, no, we're going to trick people in this no man's land and like get people to buy? Because, okay, here's two things with Jersey Mike's. Second thing, you get the big one, like I have gotten the big one, and like your brother Ryan has gotten the big one. Yeah, I've got 2 out of 3 times I've gotten the big one, because the first time I got the small one, and I'm like,
well, and you say small, you mean regular.
The regular, yeah, which is small relative to what I consider a big version at another sandwich shop. I was still hungry, and I'm like, I don't go into a place like that to be still hungry when I leave. And your brother Ryan, who probably also eats can eat a fair bit at times for sure. He had the same thing. And here's the problem. When you get the jumbo one, it's suddenly a $20 sandwich.
Yes.
And then I'm like, okay, now I'm spending $20 on a sandwich, and I don't like that all that much.
Yep.
So that's the Jersey Mike's conundrum. Although Jersey Mike's is pretty good. I do like it. It's better than Subway, of course. It's way better than Jimmy John's, in my opinion. I'm not a Jimmy John's fan. I'll be on the record of that. So it's easily better than Jimmy John's. Still not as good as Quiznos, because I am an old school Quiznos guy.
I think maybe have Quiznos.
Firehouse Subs is good, though. Firehouse Subs, I think, is also better than Jersey Mike's.
I haven't had Firehouse in like 10 years, so I cannot say that one.
Okay.
Do you think maybe you're seeing Quiznos through rose-tinted Quiznos glasses?
Oh, definitely. Like, I have a little Quiznos nostalgia, because it used to be a popular place.
But if you ate it now, you're like, oh, this actually is just shitty.
No, I have got it. Well, actually, I probably haven't had it now for 3 or 4 years even. I do try to get it. If I get a chance, I do try to get it sometimes. It seems like there becomes less and less opportunity. I know I've talked about this for the other times, but for the longest time, I don't know if it's still the case, in the Minneapolis airport, when you'd get to like the Aberdeen gate, there used to be a Quiznos.
Really?
I don't know if it's still there or not.
Wow.
Because I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, there used to be a Quiznos in that area for
little Quiznos,
when you go to almost the end of the earth to get to like the last one.
You basically left the airport, but somehow
it'd
you're
be
still
like the
inside
last
it.
little spot would be a Quiznos.
Interesting. Did not know that.
That's it on Jersey Mike's.
Okay.
So we do have one. We have officially entered 2025, and we got a Jersey Mike's, baby.
Living the life.
Local people love to complain. Like, here's what people complain about it in in Western Northeast South Dakota. We have too many. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not actually passing judgment on if this is accurate or inaccurate, but if you read like Facebook posts and stuff like that, if new business are going up or old businesses are closing, everyone's like, oh, great. They're going to open up another car wash or another
Casino.
Another
bank.
Yeah, another bank, another car wash, another casino. Why don't we get a this is what I hear. Why don't we get an Applebee's?
Yes.
And I'm like, what? That's what you're craving
that
for
real
is
is
an
the thing. People be like,
Applebee's?
okay, yep, that restaurant closed. Now's the perfect time for an Applebee's or a Chili's to go in. We're like,
Yes,
yeah,
those are
right on. It's like, really? That's what you're
That's
craving?
what we're so desperately after, an Applebee's. I'm like, we have Ruby Tuesdays. You know they're all the same thing, right?
Yeah. The finest microwave food available. It's like when Grant said he flew into Rapid City and he talked to some guy. He's like, hey, what's good to eat? And the guy's like, we like Culver's. And he's like, well, kind of hoping to try something different.
Yeah. Yes. But do you know what I'm talking about? People complain about
100%. Yes. Yeah, it's like, no, I'm so mad that we don't have this fast food, but I'll take the sit down fast food option instead. Like, that's what will greatly improve my quality of life.
Yeah. All right. That's Jersey Mike's rant over. Next. Are we going to talk about the home gym Facebook group?
We should. Dude. This is probably the most I've just laughed to myself in one day in a really long time. And I've been thinking
set the stage.
I've really been thinking about this a lot. Okay. I mentioned to you. So actually, there's several steps to this. First, I was in Aberdeen a couple days ago and I showed up to your office unannounced. And the funniest part of this is I went to Tanner where Tanner works. So I go to the office.
You've never been there.
I've never been there. I'm like, I got done with all of my like client stuff early. So I had like an hour and a half. It was like 3:30. And I'm like, oh, I'm just going to show up to Tanner's office, go to the front desk and just tell him I'm here. And I'm like, oh, I kind of want to use a fake name so he doesn't know it's me. Yeah. I'm like, oh, if I use a fake name, then he might just say he's busy and not come to the front desk. So I go up there, and of course, because it's very official, you have to like tell the lady, and you have to like check in and everything. And she goes, "Okay, what is your name?" And I said, "Tommy." And she calls, and of course, you don't answer your phone. And I'm like, classic Tanner. So then I'm like about to pull out. I'll just call him myself. I was about to do that. Right, she goes, "Oh, I'll call someone else." So then she calls another person, and she goes, "Oh yeah, Tanner's right here." And she goes, "What was your name again?" I said, "Tommy." She goes, "Yep, you can tell Tanner that Tommy's here." And I'm like, "Oh, blew my cover." Yeah. And then she goes, "Yep, just go through that door, go down there. He's in the office back there." And I walk in, and you're like, "Oh, like you had no idea it was me."
No, I was like, "Oh, this Tommy."
I just know so many Tommies.
Well, just because that's not where I get used to. Not people I know,
right?
Like that coming into work.
Yeah, you're not used to me showing up in that office.
Right. And I'm like, oh, that Tommy. And then I think even the gal that works for me there, she goes, "Oh, this isn't the Tommy I was expecting either." Or
she did say that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I showed up, and that was pretty funny. So then we were actually, how did this story even start? What did you? Yeah. So then I'm just like talking about random stuff, and I said, "Oh man, I finally joined the Garage Gym Reviews." Oh yeah, no, because we were talking about this on Facebook, the Garage Gym Reviews Facebook group that has like 300,000 people. We just talked about this last week, and I'm like, man, the questions in there are batshit insane. I'm like, it's daily a post comes up about horse stall mats, and I was like, I actually can't tell if these people are trolling themselves or if they're actually all this clueless. Like they clearly have, and there's nothing wrong with being new to the scene and not knowing what's going on, but it's a classic thing with any community is that you just come in and ask the basic question right off the bat without taking like 2 seconds of just looking around or doing one like YouTube search or one Google search. Right. And so people are just asking the just most basic questions every single day over and over and over again. And I told you, I'm like, man, I was like tempted to make a post that was like, "Oh, I want to get some of those like pony pads for my gym. What are those things?" And you're like, "Oh, I was going to make," you're saying the same thing. Like I was going to make a dumb post, and then you did it. And, dude, the post today, I think what makes this, all right, I should just pull up one of these just so we're not.
Well, the first thing I would say is when you told me about it, I joined the wrong group at first. There's like two home gym groups that both have like 300,000 people in them. Both of them do.
Which is too many. Way too many.
Yes.
Not how that should go. Like you said,
No.
that's just another Facebook. That's just Facebook again.
That's why
You haven't narrowed it down.
It's not a community at that point. Then that is a way too many people.
Okay, so I want to find. God, of course, there's just so much garbage in here. Okay, well, I won't read your one today. I'll get to that one next. What was your first one here? Where did that go? These things get so hard to find.
Yeah. What was the first one I said new to the community or whatever. You'd have to find it. I guess I suppose I can find it, right?
You probably
Somehow.
can find it easier.
If I go to that and then I go to
Okay, here it is.
my
Hi,
thing.
you wrote,
Okay.
hi, new to the group. Does anyone know what those large black rectangular flooring pieces are that I sometimes see in home gyms? Can they be found locally? Thanks in advance. And that one was really funny because, well, first of all, yes, that is like a question that gets asked daily already. But then all of these Massenomics people came out of the woodwork, like people that I've never seen
Yeah,
comment in
that was the best part.
You know, we
yeah.
got Dylan, Joey, Steve, just all these people, Garrett, Eric, like just all these people in there leaving comments that a lot of them I don't typically see make comments, just leaving funny stuff. So, okay, that was funny. Yeah. Haha. Well, then today you wrote, let's hear everyone's favorite color horse stall mats. Go. The best way to make a comment. It's right in that just
Because
vein
I
of,
saw someone else doing that.
people
like,
do that
go.
all the time. It's like, yep, I
yeah.
need something and go.
Yeah.
And that one, somebody has 78 comments on it, and everyone's just leaving the dumbest comments in there over and over and over again. And it's just, I mean, it's just going on and on. So that is really funny. So that's got me laughing, like cracking up. And then
Yeah.
someone in the Discord says something about, oh, I should make a joke about the knurling on the barbell being too aggressive. And,
Right.
And finally, so Joey makes a post like, oh, the knurling on my Texas deadlift bar is ripping my deadlift gloves. Like, does anyone have any recommendations? And you start talking about like filing down the bar. And then someone's asking and you're doubling down on it.
Yeah.
And, I gotta find this here. I gotta find, because it's so stupid. Because I'm like, I actually can't tell if these people are in on the joke or that clueless
Or if
now.
yeah,
Because it just
right.
kept getting so dumb. Where is this other one at now?
Yeah.
Here, I gotta find it here. Just a second, Joey. Assuming it's not deleted now. It's also a matter of time before these posts start to get deleted too.
I've seen some people that just use a metal file on the new bars to get them smoother. Haven't done it myself, but you could be worth a try.
Which sounds like just the most honest advice.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah. Now I get why people believe everything they read on Facebook because it just sounds
Right.
friendly and approachable. It's like I asked a question and someone answered it. They clearly, definitely know what they're talking about. Yes, you said that, but then someone else said something like, "Oh man, is that for real?" And you're like, "No, honestly, it works good." Like, are you?
Yeah, that's I tried to. Someone says, "What the hell is dude talking about? Filing down bars to make them smoother?" Shake my head, and I go, "It works better than you'd think. Really doesn't take long to get most of the knurling completely gone."
Like this guy's in disbelief, and you're like, "No, trust me, man. Hear me out on this one."
No, it works seriously.
Yeah. So there's that, and then I'm just trying to think. Was that might have been about it, but it was just so.
What one I hopped on today too that I liked is someone asked.
Yes, that's actually someone
They
says your
asked
favorite piece of
favorite
equipment with pictures, and you put the original Massenomics gym photo, and you said your favorite piece of equipment was horse stall mats. You said got them all over the floor. And then again, I couldn't tell if this person was trolling or serious, and they go, "How do you get that smell out? Mine smell all rubbery."
No, if that was someone in our group or not either. I wasn't actually even sure.
And what did you say? Do you remember?
I can't remember on that. Oh, I said something about I keep my toilet in the gym, so there's always a smell worse than the rubber or something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
And so there was another one where someone asked something about horse stall mats, and you go, "Well, they had poopy on them first, or there was dookie."
Yeah, there was her horse. Yeah, buying used ones. Oh, that I was. something about someone's complaining about that was another separate post. Someone complaining about Facebook Marketplace deals, and I said actually you can find really good deal on used horse stall mats if you're not afraid to clean some dookie off of them first. Yeah, that group is really something.
And I think what makes this so funny is we definitely. I mean, this is stupid, but we do way dumber stuff with Massenomics like every day. But I think what makes this so funny is that it's the psychological impression that you're under the watchful eye of the home gym community group. So it's like kind of like when you're in school and you know the teacher, you don't want to get caught by the teacher. So it makes it really funny because you're like, oh man, I got to try. I'm laughing, but I don't want to get caught. Like that's sort of what this feels like.
Well, and there's a level of anonymity to it where people like don't know our names and who we are. You know, there's a bunch of people that don't know who we actually are. So you can get away with like saying dumb crap and they don't know for sure if you're joking. You know, all the Massenomics people see our name right away and know that it's a big joke, but like the people that don't know Massenomics at all in there, which would be a lot of them, it's like they really don't know. You're like, I'm getting to pretend again, and they really can't tell.
Right? Yeah. I'm getting to pretend by using my real name.
Yes.
I'm anonymous with my real name.
I did see. Well, I think all this talk of it has gotten a lot of the Massenomics crew a little more active in there in general, and I did see. So today or yesterday, maybe Paul Foss posted his gym tour, and I hadn't even considered this as something that would get taken down. And he sent it. He's like, "Oh yeah, the admins took it down," and I'm like, "What for?" And he goes, "Oh, self promotion." I'm like, my first thought was self promotion. That's what everyone is, just posting pictures of their own gym.
Yes,
you were posting a video of your gym. Like, what do you promote? You know, of course, he is in tight with us, just like all crew members are, and like he's maybe funneling back to a YouTube video. But I'm like, well, it's his gym, you know. I like, But then Keith made the comment,
yes, and
they're pretty strict about any time you post an external link. And then I'm like, okay, actually, I get that.
I can understand that. Yeah, I can understand that. But I'm like, God, it still is like, well, God, yeah, we can have 1,000 posts of people just posting photos of their gym over and over and over. But the second it's a video that's posted
a good
anywhere,
video of their gym, then it's like, no, you can't do that.
Which is also funny because it's like, well, that's also kind of part of the greater community is the content people are making. But it's like, yeah, you can't link to any content that actually exists out there, which is sort of weird. But I guess
we don't want any quality content. We just want like shitty.
And also, okay, here's this sums up the whole thing in I mean, pretty close. Okay, horse stall mats is one whole genre of questions. Is this a good deal or not? Is a whole second genre of questions.
That's a good one. I like. There's some fun to be had with. Is this a good deal?
I mean, yeah, there's so many of those. Like then there's like the what is this, where it's some like janky ass piece of equipment that someone like doesn't even know what it is. And so they're trying to figure that out. And then there's like 1 in 50 posts is like something training related. And that almost covers the majority of, and then like, okay, and sorry. And then every 5th post is someone complaining about Rogue. And,
yes. Yeah.
Because man, if there's one thing that's popular to do, it's just to hate on any company that's successful.
That is true. Yeah, so stay tuned for we'll see how long we keep going on the garage gym.
Keith did mention that he seems to get put in timeout routinely, so I'm curious if that happens.
Like the comments I've been making, well, I mean, part of it, Brandon and Efren are both moderators, and Coop, of course, so they actually know who we are, and they be like, if anything else, they'd probably be like, can you stop doing that?
Let's take that down a notch.
But what I was going to say, if the moderators didn't know who we are, they could look at those and they'd be like, that seems like an honest comment, right?
Like, I don't know. This is the 10th post about horse stall mats this week, and it's not the dumbest one. So with that being said, I have to keep them on.
Right. Yeah, these aren't actually the stupidest comments about horse stall mats that I've seen today. Yeah. That's right.
Go join the home gym community by Garage Gym Reviews, and you could be the 321,000th member and catch up on all of this interesting talk.
Yeah, and then Big Alex, he actually referenced Instagram/YouTube comment of the week, an old segment that we had. And I've got to shout out 2 of these from YouTube. The best part about our YouTube getting a little more popular all the time is catching more and more bad comments.
Catching more strays out there.
I actually got to hand it to 2 bad comments of people that like really drastically turned it around that weren't followers of us, that I'm like, okay, wow, this person left a shitty comment and then like completely flipped the script.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
So
where I'm
we
saying these
have
were
a
actually
redemption story here.
Yes, I was like, wow, I have to give, like, I want to specifically give these people credit because, okay, this first one, we just posted our barbell collar video today. It's going quite well. It's getting a lot of comments. And one guy said, you'll listen to this first initial comment and probably be like just a little annoyed by it. It's like, okay. So here it is. Mildly baffled by how highly style/looks seem to be factored in here. They are collars, probably for a home gym. Why is it that important if they come in several colors or look a bit weird? Are they secure? Will they last? What kind of price range? Will they fit specialty bars or hold loadable dumbbells, etc.? Guessing not a coincidence that you mentioned your ones would win the style awards. So he's kind of like mad that we're talking about the way they look.
And I get that. Like, if you're going purely objective, it's like, well, okay, if as long as it does its job, anything that costs more than the cheapest one that does its job is over the top,
it's really the
unnecessary.
classic weight is weight guy.
Yeah,
if
it's that
you're the
same
weight
thing.
is weight guy, then yeah, just get
there is a certain point to that. Yes, there absolutely
Yeah.
is. But I mean, you can take that approach to anything in life, and it's like, oh, life's pretty boring if we only do the bare essential all the time.
And I wouldn't say I left a mean response in return, but I was just pretty to the point, and it wasn't friendly at all. I said, you're certainly entitled to your own opinion. Shouldn't be all that baffling that someone has a different opinion than you. We also discussed all the other factors you mentioned. And then, like, completely, I'm saying completely to my surprise, he says, oh, for sure, and a good job at it. I'm probably going to buy the Rogue ones off of this. Just seemed weird to have style points mentioned so often. And I was like, oh, I feel like you actually brought the temperature down on that.
Yeah.
So I said, that's fair. I guess it's just in our nature to look at the aesthetic characteristics more than some others might. And he said, that's fair. Apologies for coming off as a prick.
Wow.
And I said, no worries, handshake. And like, have you ever heard of that?
Did
in
we
the
just
YouTube
solve
comments?
world peace in the YouTube comments?
Okay, and even better than this one.
Well, but I also do got to say, though, with that, though, I mean, let's be real, though. All of them hold the weight on the bar. So, like, style factor is kind of one of the biggest differentiators. Some of them hold the weight a little better, but they all do hold the weight on the bar. So, at a certain point,
Right.
it's just how do they look doing it?
Right. Here's the other one. This was a comment earlier today, 12 hours ago. This was on our Massenomics podcast episode 427. Is a 315-pound bench press realistic?
Oh, well, that already is going to attract.
Yeah. Guy says, at 1 hour and 12 minutes, I think they finally start addressing the title about a 315-pound bench. And this is what I always do when people do, we get these fairly
Yes.
commonly. And I go, timestamps are strictly forbidden.
Yep.
And he said, why is this the case? So you want your viewers or potential new viewers to watch your entire video or most of your videos, which is over 1 hour plus
Yes.
to finally get to the meat and potatoes of the video
Yes.
title? And that's why I'm like, yes, that is exactly what we want people to do. Watch the whole video. That's why we do it. We don't want them to watch 10 minutes of the video. Said some people, unfortunately, don't really have the time to sit through the entire discussion. This is the first video of yours I've seen. Unfortunately, it might be the last video I'll watch. But maybe if you had at least one timestamp that simply pinpoints your video title, I might stick around. And I just said, that's understandable, but it's a long-running joke that we and our listeners enjoy. So if our style isn't for you, that's totally okay. And then he goes, well, at least you're lighthearted about it, so that's good. So someone deciding to post timestamps on your videos aren't strictly forbidden. And I said, no, they're not really strictly forbidden. It's a joke. And then this guy...
Is that the guy that left the really short one?
Yes.
Okay, I saw that comment.
Then he on today's video, the barbell collars one, he left like a comment that had like 20 timestamps.
Yeah, on a 12-minute video, he left 20 timestamps. Okay, I saw
is
that
really
in there.
funny.
I didn't recognize the username. I'm like, oh, this has been a guy that's been watching a long time, and this is hilarious.
He just picked up today from that conversation. Yeah, and he left like, for this watching along at home, this was his comment on YouTube where it's all
For the
these
barbell collar
timestamps.
one. And the chapter names he gave things were very funny too. That's why I'm like, oh, this is a guy that's known about Massenomics forever because this is great.
It was actually really, really funny. I like favorited the comment and stuff. And I'm like, that is 2 success stories from YouTube comments today. So I do think to neither of those guys was I directly a prick back. I was just, I wasn't like being a complete jerk. I was just kind of like, hey, this is why we do that. If it's not for you, that's fine. And like in both of those cases, it actually worked out. I'm like, huh, wow, that's impressive. Kudos to those two people.
Not everyone is just an angry troll bot person on the internet. There is real people out there.
Right. I was pretty impressed by that, actually.
Just keeping the human connection alive, one YouTube comment at a time.
What do you got? Something to drink over there or something?
I am thirsty.
Our last Rambler. This is kind of bittersweet.
It's very sad in a certain way.
Big Lauren down at Wild Iron in Texas.
Being the last one though, we got a pounder here.
It's like my friend over at Live Large, Big Nick, always said, if you're going to try someone's pizza, if you know if they're a good place, you try the basics. You try their cheese, you their pepperoni. If you're going to try a sparkling water to know if it's good, you try their plain
you go unflavored
water
to know if their flavors are going to be good.
So this is just the plain, right? I'm good with the plain ones. Are you good with the plain ones?
I'm good with the plain ones. There might be a bit of a flavor there, maybe. Maybe it's just the bubbly, though. Maybe it's just the amount of bubbles tricks me into thinking there's a flavor.
I swear there's extra bubbles in this one.
It
the
seems
bubbles
like
hit differently when there's no flavor or something.
I agree.
Honestly, when I just tip it back and like the fluid starts to hit my mouth, it is loud, the amount of carbonation noise. Are you feeling that? Like this has an insane level of carbonation.
It's like Juji said, it's like spiky water.
There's an audible noise. I'm pretty sure if you're in the room with me, you would hear the noise it makes because it's so carbonated.
Either way, Rambler, keeping their streak alive. Very good.
What are you giving this on the scale?
I mean, this is a different scale because we're talking pure, but as far as just plain unflavored water goes, that's a 4 to me for an unflavored water on the unflavored water scale.
This is a 4.5 to me on the unflavored water scale. This is really good, actually. Rambler is really good, and I actually really enjoy their presentation on all their cans too.
Yeah, well done. Well done, Rambler team.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Thanks, Big Lauren. This one's for you. All the Ramblers. It's been a journey, man. It's been a real journey. Okay.
Wow.
Should we do some supporting our supporting members?
Yeah, we probably should.
Okay. Few things here. Check out this week on Unpaid and Underrated. Big Katie was on there. So they had one of the chocolate chips. If anyone doesn't know, chocolate chip is a Massenomics supporting member female because the Massenomics supporting members make up the delicious cookie. But within the cookie, the part that maybe makes it the best is the chocolate chips sprinkled on throughout the inside. There's not as much chocolate chip surface area as there is non-chocolate chip surface area. But without the chocolate chips, the whole thing would kind of suck, right?
Yeah.
Then you'd have what, like
it wouldn't be a chocolate chip cookie anymore. It'd just be a chocolate.
Wouldn't even be a sugar cookie. It'd be like
just a cookie
with nothing
doesn't
in
have
it.
the good parts.
Like, what would that be called if you make? Because that's probably a thing, right?
I don't know. Is it? I don't make cookies, so I don't really know. Actually, I don't know.
What would you call it if you're just making it's just like a chocolate chip cookie, but you leave out the chocolate chips because that's not a sugar cookie. That's a way different cookie.
Yeah, I don't think that's a cookie. I don't think people make those.
That's because they suck. That's why we have the chocolate chips. And you can check out Katie on Unpaid and Underrated. Then, this is pretty cool. Big Brand wrote and published a children's book on autism. His son has autism. I think he said he's 6 years old. Maybe I got that age wrong. Doesn't matter, but he wrote and published this. It is called Upside Down and is now available on Amazon. And even just earlier, I saw one of the Davids had it and someone else said they'd ordered it. So a few of the crew have ordered it. You can get it on Amazon, Upside Down,
Very cool.
written by Big Brand. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm actually going to spin this into supporting our supporting members. Oh, did I say this is a relatively new segment?
Yeah. Yep, we did that.
Okay.
I thought that's what we were doing already, weren't we? Supporting our supporting members?
Yeah. Yeah, but did I specifically say that this is a relatively new segment?
Oh, I thought you
just
did.
I just want to make sure people know that this is a relatively new
Yeah,
segment.
I'm pretty sure you did. Maybe I just I just heard it in my head, but
Also, if you want to become a supporting member, we'd love for you to do that. It's actually like the best way that you can support Massenomics, our favorite way. You can buy our merchandise, come hang out with us at our events and all that stuff like that. But we'd love to have you become a supporting member. It's how you get in our Discord. It's the only way you get in our Discord. There's a discount code. You can listen along live to the podcast. It's pretty much how you make it into the Massenomics Lift Hard, Live Easy strength event of the summer. Whole bunch of stuff, honestly. And one of the things is we talk about you here on supporting our supporting members. And the last one this week is we did crown a champion recently of the Massenomics supporting member first annual fantasy football league.
oh,
A champion was crowned. And we had the Rochester Bowl in the championship.
I saw that.
Big Keith versus Big Chris Mark. The battle over the key of the Rochester key to the city.
So you must
came
have
down
really
to the
fallen off
Massenomics.
at the end or something.
Yeah, I had 2 bad weeks at the end. Well, actually, no. My semifinal week, I scored well, but Chris Mark
Oh,
pulled
in the
out.
playoffs, actually.
In the playoffs. Actually, to go to the finals, I had a good week,
Mm-hmm.
just not good enough because Chris Mark had a baller week. So, and then the final week, I somewhat forgot about setting my lineup because after you
Classic
after you
mistake.
lose, then. But I wasn't even close. So I think I technically it was what you'd call as I got 4th after having the best record the entire season and having the most points scored almost the entire season. And then I lose the last
Let it
2.
all
So
go.
classic. Peaked at the wrong time.
Yep. Don't
I
wanna
went
do
for
that.
RPE 10 3 weeks before you were supposed to, and then I didn't have anything left in the tank. But the battle for the key of the Rochester City was taken down by the man. Not only is he a man with 2 first names, now he's the man with the first annual Massenomics Fantasy Football Championship, the Aberdeen Central Golden Eagles. And Ryan Anderson at the gym, he listens to the podcast and he heard about that, that Aberdeen Central Golden Eagles were the champions, and he wanted Chris Mark and everyone to know that is actually the first time that the Aberdeen Central Golden Eagles are ever football champions in the history of the team. So the first championship bringing back to Aberdeen Central.
That would be correct, yeah.
They've made it 3 other times.
Oh, they have,
This
really?
is the first time. Yeah,
What,
last
in
time.
the 70s?
Well, no, they made it in the same year I went to the Dome. They were in the Dome.
Really?
So in 2003.
Really?
They were in the
Okay.
state football championship.
So 22
That's
years.
probably their most recent though.
Yeah.
So that's it. And there is talk that we're going to bring it back for another year. Big Kevin's the commissioner. I'm just a player, not a commish. But there was some talk among some of the players that maybe if there's enough interest from other supporting members, they would open up a feeder league where, say, the 6, because it's 12-team league, the 6 playoff teams maybe automatically make the A league, and then the bottom 6 are open to the next 18 players. Whichever 12 don't make that final spot would be in the it'd be like soccer, right?
Yeah,
Because that's how
Premier
soccer
League
works.
and-
Yeah. And then we assume we have another year. The worst 6 get moved down. The best 6 from the feeder league would move
Not a bad
up.
idea if you can get the people for it, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not going to be the commissioner of that. I'm along for the playing, but I'm not gonna take the helm on that.
Just there for a good time.
And Big Anthony has a great point. That does count as winning a Massenomics contest. So Big Chris Mark on his Hall of Fame card can mark off winning a contest.
yeah, that's big.
And there is a trophy getting made.
Oh.
There was some speculation because I've been talking about within the group. I had talked about a trophy long ago, earlier in the year. Well, then I was kind of always in the lead, so it was like,
you don't want to make
now-
a trophy for yourself.
no, well, I didn't want to have a trophy for myself, but now he won, and there is no trophy yet. And it's like, was there ever a trophy? And it's like, yes, there always has been
Of course.
a trophy in plan, but it just hasn't been made yet. I'm excited about what it's going to be. It's just still isn't done, so I'm going to crack the whip and hope we can get that soon. To Anthony's point, one other thing, we welcome Big David, British David, as supporting member number 37 to make it in the 12 Achievement Hall of Fame. We've now had 37 members make it into the Hall of Fame. He was number 37 just this week.
Congratulations.
So 3 spots left to make the top 40, the first 40 into the Hall of Fame. Only 3 spots left. And that all kind of reminds me, speaking of 3 spots left, Build Fast Formula has approximately 3 spots left. So you better act fast if you want to get in and try some of their full blitz or their 80-20 or now even their creatine or maybe their drink hack. I think they actually, oddly enough, have like 3 spots left on every single one. So the second you're hearing this is the time you would want to go to buildfastformula.com, add those to your cart, check out. Before you check out, use discount code Massenomics to save you 10% on every order that you get over there. Vaso Blitz, Full Blitz, 80-20, and now the creatine would all fall into the category of my favorite products at buildfastformula.com.
I'm going to wait to read mine. I'll read mine later.
Okay. Yeah. We got title topics and stuff to get to, don't we?
We got lots to cover here. Okay. I'm just trying to think. Okay, Tanner, I'm going to say a name. Just give me your first thoughts, okay? Don't even think about it. Just spit out.
This isn't the title topic.
No,
oh my God!
No, this is just a little what comes to mind. Okay, if I say J.J. Watt, what do you think?
Defensive end football, Houston Texans.
That's one way to think of it. I think of a guy in way too many commercials. That guy. Dude, there's some commercial breaks. It's like they go to commercial, J.J. Watt commercial, J.J. Watt commercial, J.J. Watt commercial, back to football. And I'm like, there's literally like thousands of people that play football. J.J. Watt and Peyton Manning don't need to be the only guys that have endorsements here. Like, do people realize that?
Yeah, Peyton Manning classically too, right?
Oh, he is in way too much stuff. Like, way, way too many things. Do we have an electrical issue there? Oh, Tanner's digging for wires. He's under the desk. We got lights flickering. Smoke is shooting out. Sparks are flying.
Sometimes I bump this one. The plug on the what's the brand of this lighting? The lights are really nice, but the plug is a little just like the plug is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't really watch television, so I don't see any commercials. So I can't.
Yeah, you
can't
say
say
that.
No, so I don't catch that. But I believe it. But he doesn't even play anymore. What does he do? Just commercials? Is he an announcer?
He's on just Dick's Sporting Goods commercial. He's on Ram Pickups commercial. He's on a Peloton commercial. And that was just in one afternoon of me watching football. I'm sure he's on other ones, but I just saw 3 in a very short period of time.
So J.J. Watt, in his day, was a serious force to be reckoned with. He was doing some crazy stuff. Like at the time, it was J.J. SWAT because he had like such an odd stat of so many pass deflections from the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Like in one year, I remember that, and obviously the sacks and all that stuff. But that's when I was far more versed in the NFL and the goings-ons than I am now. So as I understand it, is T.J. Watt... I mean, is he better now than J.J. Watt was ever?
I think he is.
Is that an accurate statement? Or
isn't he, though? I thought...
That's... See, I don't know that. Like, that's kind of what I've picked up on, but I don't know well enough. Or maybe it's not that black and white. But, I mean, like...
Yeah, it says right here, T.J. Watt has more sacks than his brother J.J. T.J. also holds the record for the second most sacks by any player in their first 100 games. So, I mean, it seems like he...
Right.
...is making a case for being the better one. I mean, he's not done yet either.
Right. Okay. It's not really important, but it's just something.
Jake also said, Jason Kelsey said more things. You're probably right. I almost give him a pass because I'm like, you just got done playing. So when J.J. Watt hasn't played for several years now, right?
Probably a few. I mean, he was with the Cardinals and kind of hurt there for a while, and I don't know how much he was really playing or not, but.
Yeah. That is, if you watch TV, you're going to see Peyton Manning 50 times. You're going to see J.J. Watt a lot. You're going to see the Kelsey brothers a lot, and you're going to see Patrick Mahomes a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the NFL for you right there. Those are the 4 spokesmen for the league.
Yeah, I can see that. The Vikings really shit the bed with a really important game, didn't they?
Yeah. They
quite
didn't
a bit
look
on the
great.
line for that.
I mean, there's definitely some things that maybe could have went their way in a perfect world, but yeah, that didn't happen. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Minnesota sports, am I right?
Dude, it is, man. That's the case. have like this record season, and it would not be surprising at all to go and just see them have a terrible game and lose to the Rams. Like, would not be surprising one bit.
I've got a TV programming.
Actually,
share.
quick before we're done with football, dude, did you see any of that ASU Texas game?
I saw some of the highlights. I didn't watch the game at all,
that
but I
running
kind of
back
understood what
for
was going
ASU,
on.
that Cam Scadaboo.
Scadaboo.
Have not, and admittedly, I don't watch a ton of football, but I have not seen what I feel like is a player put the team on their back the way that guy did. I mean, quarterbacks can kind of do that, but it's because you have the ball every single play. I mean, this guy through sheer will was like forcing their team to win, and it was insane to watch. It really did feel like a man playing amongst boys, and like the Texas team kind of feels like an all-star team up against this ASU. And it's like, no, like the ASU is just too scrappy, and of course they lose the game at the end. But man, I was pumped watching that game. He was just killing it.
The Scadaboo run at the end where his helmet flies off and he like just is looking there. Over. I'm like, that is like one of the hardest things I've seen in a football game for a while.
After he gets
I'm
face mask,
I'm like, okay, that's like that guy's a badass.
He did
like,
that. It wasn't too many plays before that where they gave a toss to him and he throws a touchdown pass downfield. And then it was like shortly after that when they ripped his helmet off that he's like getting held up at the line, they were like a yard out. And like he just keeps his legs going, his legs never stop. And then one of the linemen like comes in, and his own lineman, and like suplexes him across the touch. Like he gets a touchdown. It's just like everything he was putting it out there. And then he was puking on the sidelines repeatedly. And
I sure would have liked to have seen ASU be winning
I
that
would have
game,
loved to see
especially
that.
in hindsight.
Yeah,
but
that would have been sweet. But it was a fun game to watch. Though it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. I get because I see it in the live chat right now. I forgot about this, but it came up. Big Mark and Big Alex were talking, but Big Mark last night, he's been listening to the Massenomics back catalog, and I don't know how long he's been along on the Massenomics ride, but last night he goes, just came across episode 1 something something. Tanner, you said you were in K&B in 2009. I was stationed at Kuwait Naval Base in 2009, like October 2009. He's like, I was there at October 2009 in the Navy. And like, if you've been deployed or in the military, that might not even mean that much to you then, or might still not even mean that much to you. But for anyone that's been to K&B, it means a lot because K&B is tiny compared to most, a lot of the bigger bases, like especially in Kuwait or, wherever you're at in the Middle East. Like K&B was very small. Like there's only a few hundred military personnel on the entire base.
So, I mean, is it possible you guys could have ever crossed paths, actually, or would you have not crossed paths?
It would be impossible that we didn't cross paths, I would say. It would be, like, I mean, there was, and maybe
you need to go back, Tanner, you need to go back, find those pictures of you playing basketball and see Marco be in the stands.
I shared, because he said, so I shared one picture in there last night where I was there playing basketball because, wait, I have this picture where we were playing a Navy team. So I shared, and you can see 2 of the Navy guys in the background. And he didn't recognize any of those guys. And there's also 2 Navy guys from the gym that were absolute monsters. Like these guys, they had to have been brothers. If they weren't brothers, we like called them the Bash Brothers. They were just, I mean, they were benching like 495. And at the time, they were legitimately enormous monsters. Like I hadn't seen people quite like that before up to this point. But he didn't really remember any of that. But the stuff he's saying, like, we for sure were like in the chow hall at the same time at times, and for sure in the gym at the same time. Like there'd be no way that we weren't, is what I would say, which is just a really odd, which is really funny to think. And then Alex was asking about the chow hall, whatever, and Mark replied, they always had a basket of Cliff Bars by the exit. I'd stuff my pockets with.
I remember you telling me that. I remember you saying that. She's like, I don't really like Cliff Bars anymore because I had so many of them.
That is right. And we had this. So that was at K&B. They had Cliff Bars at the exit, and we would literally you have cargo pockets on the side of your AC uniform. We would stuff our pockets with them, but we would go to we would have to travel to a different base. Well, multiple different bases, but this one that we went to, they had these Snickers. I have to have told this story before on the podcast, but
like a Snickers.
I know
protein
I have, but
bar,
it's been a while. These Snickers protein bar instead of Cliff Bar, they had Snickers protein bars at the exit, and we'd maybe only go there like once a month. So when we'd go there, like our plan was like, oh, we're getting so fucking many of those Snickers protein bars when we're going. And one time it was a pre-planned competition to see who could literally fit the most on their person. Like, and you're also not supposed to. It's not like you're supposed to take 60 of these, you know.
Yeah, it's
so
not
you kind of have to be like
bar buffet or just
yeah. And I won, and I'm saying like I can't remember the number, but I had to have had like 40 some of those. Like my pants were visibly hanging down. I had so many Snickers protein bars in my pockets. Like I had like a month's supply of Snickers protein bars after that. That's it.
And that's what it's all about.
But I just thought it's so crazy that we were there at the same time, because it would be like saying, I guess I'd probably compare it to use a similar reference. Aberdeen Central High School would be like, well, I graduated there in 05 also.
Right,
like it'd be like, well, we had to have been, you know, we might not have been buddies, but like we were for sure like in the cafeteria together, right? You know.
Yeah, this one's still even weirder though, because you're not even from the same part of the country though, you know.
Right.
Like, you weren't.
Right.
Yeah, you weren't in the same.
We weren't even in the same branch of
military.
service. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
That is funny. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about, because you brought up programming, or you know, television. This is semi-related to that. It made me think of it. Like 3 nights ago, my wife said, my wife barely watches any TV or movies or anything like that at all. So if she ever wants to watch something with me, that's a red letter occasion. And she's like, "Hey, we should watch the dinosaur movie, Jurassic Park." And
Like
we'll get
the first one, or
okay. She just said the dinosaur movie, you know, Jurassic Park. We'll watch it with the kids.
oh,
And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's good." And she's like, "Oh, it's on Disney or whatever." It's on Disney, and I'm looking for Jurassic Park on Disney. It's not on there. I search for it. It's not on there. I'm like, "Oh, it's not on there." And then Googling it. I'm like, "You can't. It's not on anything. You got to buy it. We're gonna have to buy it rent it from Amazon for like $4." And she's like, "Oh, that's weird. I could have sworn it was on there, but go ahead and rent it." And she was upstairs. We were texting this, and I was downstairs in the basement. So I rent Jurassic Park for like $3, which is not that big of a deal to me. That's fine. I don't care about the price, but Jurassic Park is of course what I think we're talking about. And she gets down, we're watching like 10 minutes, and she's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Jurassic Park." And she's like, "No, I won't." And she was talking about Jurassic World, the 2015 movie with the guy from Parks and Recreation, Chris Pratt. And I'm like, "You were talking about Jurassic World? No one would talk about these movies and be like, we have to watch Jurassic
I don't
World."
think that's the spot anyone starts at.
I'm like, Jurassic Park won like 3 Academy Awards, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's universally loved.
Like, Jurassic World is fine, probably, but I'm like, Jurassic Park is like a all-time classic. And
yeah,
and as confused as I was that she meant Jurassic World, she was somehow easily as confused. She was like, "How could you think I meant this movie?"
So
you know, how could you think I meant?
One, though?
She's like, "I haven't seen this since I was little." And I'm like, "This is by far the better movie. Watch this." Like, we watched it, and I'm like, "That is still a really good movie."
Yeah.
You know,
I haven't watched that one in a very long time, but I would think the same thing, and I have seen Jurassic World too. I would think, you start with Jurassic Park every single time. Or if you're going to watch anything from that series, that's absolutely the one you're going to pick.
Right. Yeah. Of course, you would start with it because it's in chronological, but even besides that, it's just the
high water mark.
I mean,
it's
right. It's for sure. Like, but she was equally as baffled that I would think that was the movie that we were supposed to watch.
Well, she's wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
I don't care what
but the best part, my first grader, the part where he's on the toilet and the walls fall down and the T-Rex eats him right off the toilet seat.
Yeah.
She laughed probably the hardest I've ever heard her laugh in her life when that happened. Like, I thought she might be somewhat scared by that, and she was like rolling, like
just that.
Like, we've talked about it almost every day since. Like, every day since that, the part where he gets eaten off the toilet, she was laughing so hard, which was making me laugh, and I'm like, it is pretty funny.
Yeah. Was the goal when they were shooting the movie. They're like, let's make the funniest thing possible for first graders right here. This is what we need.
Yes. So now do you want to play a game?
Should we? I think I'm ready for this. Should we kick everyone else out?
That's what I bet.
Yeah.
This is going to be the best part. We better kick them off so they all got something to come back for to listen to it after the recording's out.
Yes.
Kind of getting sick all these looky-loos anyways.
There's a lot of them here. This could take a half hour or more just to...
You can give them what they finally deserve. And I know we've mentioned it before, but please tell me you're reporting them.
Yes.
To the authorities.
Reported them for sexual threats, sexually
pedophilia.
suggestive messages they've been sending me. You would not believe, as the guy running this Zoom call,
moderator.
the amount of dick pics I get sent every single time we do this. It's like, guys, I have your username right here. Like, I know who's doing this. You're not fooling anyone.
We'll get the last laugh when they have all now been reported and will lose their Zoom privileges.
Okay, Tanner, hit that title topic button for me. That's right. You just heard Disturbed, which means it is time for this week's title topic. Now, Tanner,
dang it! I haven't ripped the "Oh no, mommy, you're hurting me, mommy" part yet. I'm going to surprise you with that one of these weeks. You're like, "Oh, not that one."
kind of a downer moment here, but all right. So Tanner doesn't know what this is. And we gotta talk through maybe the best way to do this. But there's this thing that I've heard a lot through just people in the home gym community. I feel like Coop's made many videos suggesting this. I've heard other people say it too. But I'm new to the equipment buying game. I've only been buying equipment for not even a full year yet. Tanner, when would you say you started buying equipment? When did the gym start? Like 2015?
9 years ago, yeah.
Okay, so you've been at it almost a decade. So you got some good amount of experience there. But there's always this thing people say is that equipment has gotten so expensive. Everything used to be so cheap. It just keeps, I think Coop's one of his later videos, he was talking about tariffs. And he basically said, you know what? Equipment just goes up, whatever percent every year, 10% or more every year. And you can look at a few years back and you think, wow, it's so cheap. And you just wish you would have bought then. And he was saying, maybe tariffs are coming and we'll see another 20, 30, 40% jump in a year. Maybe we saw some big jumps during the COVID times. And he's like, so my recommendation is just buy it now because it never gets cheaper. And I was like, man, how cheap did this stuff used to be? If only there was a way. But there is a way to know, Tanner. There's this.
You didn't invent a time machine just for this game, did you?
I did not invent it. I
just to be able to figure out
what
what the prices of.
I just opened the door to the time machine. So I want you to get in that DeLorean with me, hit whatever gigawatts we need to hit to do this whole thing.
Lifting and drinking is all I know.
Hopping in our 69 Chevy. We're going back in time. And so I fired up. There's this little thing. Have you ever heard of the Wayback Machine?
The Wayback Machine. No, I mean that's the only reference I have of the Wayback Machine. That's what they always say that on Stuff You Should Know. They go get in the Wayback Machine. I hear them say that all the time.
Well, no, so there is a website
that rang a bell.
There is a website called the Wayback Machine, and what this website does, they are a nonprofit and they archive all of the internet pages through time. So you can type in any URL. And if
Massenomics.com.
You could type in Massenomics.com, and if they have captures of it, it brings up a calendar and it shows all the captures they have. And so if you type in the Wayback Machine into Rogue Fitness, they have, I'm just going to tell you the original dates here. Wayback Machine. I believe they had the earliest capture they have saved was like from 2006 or 7 for Rogue Fitness.
Really?
And
I got to see what that looks like.
A few things that are funny about this is, first of all, it is just like a straight up just CrossFit website. And like some of the stuff, especially the really old stuff, is just like broken and doesn't work good. Like it's not loading any of the styles. So you're just seeing like text lists and things like that.
Right.
But all of the text is almost 100% in reference to CrossFit. Like that's pretty much the only thing they're talking about. But also how bad the design of things looked back then. So
that's what I want to see. So you just type in like roguefitness.com and then
so you enter
get this
the URL
calendar
machine.
and what do you go?
Yeah, and so you can pick it'll show screenshots or it'll show like captures or whatever they call it. And you can do this for any website.
A big timeline. Do you click
so
on
you
part of the
click
timeline?
on 2007, it's showing the first ones they have, and then you go to the calendar and click on the first date they got. It has a snapshot, not capture.
okay.
Snapshot's the term they use. Some of these though,
Like
they don't.
February 9th, 2007.
Yep. And some of these, a lot of them take a long time to load. I'm just assuming it's because of this like nonprofit status but like I couldn't get that one to work. I think you had to go to like April 2nd to get that. That was like maybe the earliest one I could get to work. But yeah,
And
like
then
even
there's a timestamp of when they pulled this. Okay.
And so even then when you get on the site, it's like the whole site doesn't necessarily work. Like some pages are there, some pages aren't there, some pages load really slow. So what I did though, I wanted to know what has gym equipment pricing actually done over time. And I feel like Rogue is a great example to use because most people in the space are familiar with them. They're a premium option. I don't think when did Rep even come around? I mean, they were not around at this point in time,
Well,
so
we have to check on the Wayback Machine.
We would. And so I thought Rogue was a good example to use. So what we're going to do, we're going to play a game, Tanner. We're going to build. I actually had to go. I couldn't get some of the pages to work. So the earliest page that I could get to work, actually, I went back 10 years to 2015. And I went,
this is insane. I'm on a 2010 one right now.
Don't look at pricing or anything.
No, I'm not looking at pricing.
Just looking
but
at the webpage.
I just want to look at like what it looks like. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what the internet looked like.
Yeah,
at
isn't
some
it
point.
crazy how bad stuff used to look then? Like Massenomics.
It's actually, I'm like this is not even use. I'm like, I don't even know how this is usable.
Isn't it funny how just bad web design was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
Yes, that is wild.
All right.
That's cool though.
So what I did though,
I didn't look at any prices though.
Because actually if you go back far enough, Rogue doesn't even have their own stuff. They're just like kind of selling random ass CrossFit stuff back then.
Okay.
I really do forget how much of just a straight up CrossFit company they were back in the day. But what I did is I went back 10 years to February 2015. Because I couldn't get January's to work for whatever. So 10 years ago, February 2015, I went and I took some screenshots here. And what we're going to do is we are going to build our home gym in February 2015 and compare it to prices now in January
so like your
2015.
home gym or just like a home
Actually,
gym
what we're going to do is we're going to build a Massenomics rack. We're going to build an RM6 Monster 1-inch rack or whatever the hell Rogue calls it. And we're going to see. I'm going to give you today's pricing, and I'm going to have you guess what the pricing was for these items back then. And we're going to pick out a rack. We're going to pick out a barbell. We're going to pick out a bench, and we're going to pick out plates.
Yeah.
That's kind of our basics. That gets us covered, okay? So, and I can put these. I'm just trying to think if I should share my screen with you or or how I should do this.
Yeah, is that something we could do?
Yeah. So first we're going to do this, though. We're going to pull up the Rogue Fitness website. The current day Rogue Fitness website, not the 2007 version. And I'm going to type in Monster Rack.
Also, the first thing I could find on Massenomics.com was when we just had a landing page, and it just said, it's going to be big. And then it said, get notified.
I'm not even sure if I totally remember that, actually.
No, it was like 2016, it looked like.
Okay. All right, so we're going to start here. We're going to start with the rack, the centerpiece of the gym. Right now, Massenomics has the Rogue RM6 Monster Rack 2.0. And I believe the one in the Massenomics gym is the 100-inch one, right? Or is it the 108?
I think 100 is the middle height.
Yes, it is.
I think.
Because 90 is the short one. Okay, we're going to say, all right, hardware, whatever, but we'll say the single pull-up bar, the rear cross member, we're going to say the Monster Beam, because that's the nameplate, the Monster nameplate. We're going to give it the Sandwich J cups, and we're going to go the straps, the strap safety system. Okay, that's pretty much our.
So this is the RM6,
right? Yeah, because that's what we have in the gym.
1-inch hardware, 3x3. Okay. Yeah.
We have a single pull-up bar, the nameplate cross member in the back.
Okay.
We have Monster Sandwich J cups and safety straps.
Pretty much exactly what the real setup at Massenomics.
Yep, an exact replica. Do you know what that pricing is today on Rogue?
$3,000
for all of that. It is $3,065. We're not talking shipping here because that can vary so wildly.
Yeah, no,
and everything. So
exclude that. Yeah.
Yep, so $3,065. That is today's pricing. So just about $3,100.
Yeah.
What do you think that rack was in February 2015? 10 years ago. What did that rack cost you?
it still wouldn't have been that cheap, right? 2015. I don't know if I'm curious if what we're gonna find here is that things weren't that much cheaper, or if it was like, whoa, no, that was way cheaper. So I'm gonna say, let's say, take about 20% off. I'll say it was $2,200.
Okay,
That'd be
so
a fairly
you're
low
going
guess.
like a
Yeah,
like
I'm
a
gonna say that it
30%,
was
a third the price.
Yeah.
About. Okay,
Right.
So, and this is also, I believe, if you're talking 10 years, Rogue has also refined their processes. So, today we're talking the 2.0 version. Here we're looking at the RM6 Monster Rack, which is the 1.0.
Okay.
So, I mean,
But it's probably about as apples to apples as we can
it's
get.
as apples to apples as you get, but you would think that it's actually, probably an inferior product compared to the modern day one.
Yeah.
I would like to think
But
they improved.
relatively speaking, it was probably as good as what, as
Yeah,
good as
it
you
should be
could
very
get at the
functionally
time,
very
so,
similar.
yeah.
So here we have it, the RM6 Monster Rack, the RM6100, because it's the 100-inch option, ships in 7 to 10 business days. We have the single pull-up bar, the Monster nameplate, which was a $103 upgrade. We have the Monster Sandwich J Cups, which was a $106 upgrade, and the strap safety set, which amazingly was not an upgrade. That was just an option.
Is it too late to change my answer?
Yeah, you can change it whatever you want.
No, I'm second guessing. I'm just gonna go up. I'm gonna change $100. I'm gonna say $2,300.
23.
Thinking about
Okay.
switching to $2,400, but now I'm gonna say $2,300.
Okay, so the new one, again, to remind people, the new modern day price, $3,065. To order that exact rack with the closest to do options
Right.
for 10 years ago, $3,096.
So it was actually more expensive.
It was $30 more expensive to order that 10 years ago than it is today. Does that not make sense?
Well,
I mean,
it
maybe
doesn't,
it's
because
the
it's not what I
economies of
guessed.
scale. Maybe they've had a huge.
Well, that's
chunk
what I
of
was gonna
that.
say. Like Rogue has gotten so much more efficient, I suppose, that they have been able to. I don't know. Now I'm just justifying after the fact of hearing it, but I suppose they've gotten so much more efficient, and you said their economies of scale and everything, that now they can charge the same, but they're making like the profit margin is even if the cost of the raw materials have gone up, they've managed a way to keep their margin better or the same at least.
But is that really
But
surprising?
yeah, no,
though?
that's crazy. That's crazy. That's
that
not
one just
what I
blew
would
my
guess.
mind because as a guy that has just started buying equipment, the way people explain it is like equipment was free back in
Right.
the day, damn near. Like it would hurt your
Right.
feelings to know how cheap the stuff was. And I'm like, oh, you mean even accounting for inflation, this thing should be like, I don't know, probably. Actually, if you just said like cost of living increase, making it go up 3% a year, whatever. I mean, we'd be getting closer to 3,500 probably by the time. And if it actually tracked with inflation, this thing would be what, $4,500 probably.
Yeah.
So that one was very surprising to me. I'm just trying to decide what is the best way for me to send these to you, because I don't want to share my screen because then you're going to see all the other screenshots I have.
Right. Well, what do I have to see though?
Well,
Does
you
it
don't
matter
really
if I
have
see it,
to.
or-
It's
Yeah.
just funny to see how some of these
Right.
screenshots look. So, okay. So we got the rack. So technically the rack, we're actually saving, you're really saving money when you say today's dollars. This is the other fun game we're going to do really quick here. I'm going to do inflation calculator. We're going to see in 2015 dollars how much that would cost today. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So if in 2015,
Well, wait a second. Yeah, that's not even factoring that in.
I
at
bought a
all.
rack for $3,096.
Right.
In 2025, that item would cost $4,121. So you're buying racks at a discount today, people. It was good.
Right.
You should not have bought them in 2015. You should have bought them.
Right.
Should have bought them today. Because there's been an inflation rate of 33%. It says over that 10-year period. So that's the rack. We got the first piece of our home gym made. So the next thing you need, if you have a home gym, you need a barbell, Tanner. You bought a barbell or two in your day.
You definitely bought some barbells before.
One thing that was very interesting, going back to Rogue way back then, is you forget, if you go back far enough, they didn't even make their own stuff. Like they didn't have barbells.
Right.
They had Lico bars and like, what was the other one they had? Let's see if I can find one of these really old screenshots. Oh yeah, choose your favorite.
Yeah, you weren't
brand.
buying the Rogue Power Bar, I guess, were you? Yeah, that's right.
Actually they had Rogue bars, Pendlay Next Gen bars, York bars, Ivanko bars, and Eleiko bars. Those were the categories. Then the website kind of started to break when you tried to click on those. But okay, we're looking now at bars. So we're going to say, because those other bars, we don't really use those or whatever, we want to be the most comparable we can. So the option that I could find for going back for barbells would be the, in 2015, they did have, sorry, take that back. In 2015, they did have the Ohio bar. Do you know what an Ohio bar in 2015 ran you?
Do we know what it is now?
Sorry. Yes. Yep. I got to give you the comparable. The modern day Rogue, and this again is assuming, I'm assuming the quality of a Rogue bar in 2025 versus 2015 is quite a bit better. But I'm also assuming here, because I couldn't go to the individual product page, that the price they're showing is for the cheapest option. So the cheapest Ohio bar you can buy today on Rogue's website is either the E-Coat or the E-Coat, the Black Zinc, or the Black Oxide are all a $295 bar.
Okay.
That's
so
today.
Just under.
Yep.
So how much was it in 2015?
Yep. How much would an Ohio bar run you in 2015?
Now I'm thinking a little differently than I was. Obviously, you've changed my mind that I'm like, was it have been cheaper at all? I'll say maybe the bar was a little cheaper. I'll say $275.
In 2015, a Rogue Ohio bar would cost you $282.
Okay.
So again, in 10 years, that bar has gone up
bit cheaper.
$13.
Not factoring inflation.
Oh yeah, and again, all right. So yeah, so then if we were to do the old inflation calculator, what that bar should cost would be, if it just kept up with inflation,
$25,
would be $375.
Right.
So again, it's economies of scale, a more competitive marketplace. I don't know what that is, but that thing essentially has not changed in 10 years. Another surprise to me. Was not expecting that one. Are you ready for the next item in the challenge here?
Yeah, what is next?
Okay, so we got our rack. We got a bar. We need a bench. We got to do some benching. And I'll let you pick here. Do you want to do let's do the Rogue adjustable bench. I have a home gym.
Yeah.
I think an adjustable bench is good.
Adjustable bench is
We can either do the Rogue adjustable bench or the AB2 adjustable bench. Do you want to do the cheaper option or the more premium one?
Let's do the premium one.
Okay, the AB2 adjustable bench. I believe today it's the AB3. Let's see. Yes, today they are at the Rogue adjustable bench 3.0. Oh, they do have the AB2 adjustable bench. Still is on here. Okay. So, all right. The AB2 adjustable bench today costs $850. It's an expensive adjustable bench.
Yeah.
But it's made in America. That's what it costs. So $850 today. What did the AB2 adjustable bench cost 10 years ago?
I'm probably wrong, but for some reason I feel like maybe that one has actually gone up. I'm going to say that one cost $650 10 years ago. That'll probably be wrong.
10 years ago, the AB2 was $815.
So they're again almost the exact same.
That one has gone up $35 is all. This one, though, I will say there is some more volatility.
5%.
If you look through the other options here, it's funny looking at this screenshot, the benches. Rogue had 12 benches available in 2015, and 7 of them were theirs. The other 5 they had a York ST flat bench, a Legend flat bench, a Legend incline bench, a Legend 3-way bench, and another York flat bench. So they had, which is funny now to think about, they had like kind of this York stuff and this kind of commercial Legend stuff available as well. But on the Rogue items, it is also funny how much of this actually does just how their product line has not changed that much. You know, not saying it had to, but
right.
The flat utility bench back then was $175. Today it's $195. So that hasn't changed like at all. The bolt together utility bench is, I don't even know if they had bolt together utility bench. Back then was This is the one that's crazy. Back then, the bolt together utility bench was $175. Today, that's $265. So that one took a big jump. The Monster utility bench, which we have some of those in the gym. Actually, we have both versions. The old version was the Monster utility bench that had the wide feet on, the front and back.
I did not like the feet, the way the feet are on that bench.
Yeah, we have one of those in the gym. That one was $255 back in the day. The new version, it is a 2.0, and that new version is $335. So that one increased like $80. But the one that really went up was the West Side bench. They had those at Los Campeones. We got to use those.
Right.
So back then, and for people that don't know, it's the bench that kind of has like the cage. It kind of has like a power rack almost built into it for your safeties. So the West Side bench back then was $682. Today, the West Side bench 2.0 is $895. So that one did see an increase of over $200.
Yeah. Okay.
But the key item, like the main items though, like that first one we said, basically hasn't changed in 10 years, which again was absolutely shocking to me. I was expecting all this stuff to double because I feel like that's the narrative I've been fed.
Right.
So this whole thing is like, equipment's just getting more. You got to buy it. You got to buy it. It's only going up every year.
Right.
And this would say, not really though.
It actually hasn't changed, and if anything, in today's dollars, it's
cheaper. Like it's actually cheaper to buy it now.
At least from Rogue in this,
yes.
At least when looking specifically at Rogue, which, to be fair, the biggest, home gym equipment manufacturer that there is, or even semi-commercial gym equipment.
Yes, and so now the final piece. We got those main pieces of equipment. We need weights. We got a gym. We got to be able to lift in this thing. We need to use weights, and
we can't find out what the strength code plates.
We cannot do that.
2015.
In 2015, Rogue almost exclusively sold bumper plates. They really only had some York, which I'm assuming that was York had already moved on to China by then or whatever. So I'm assuming those were imported
for sure.
But you could get the Rogue Olympic plates, which were it just says barbell standard on them, but they brand them as the Rogue Olympic plates, which they still do today, actually. And I also thought this was funny. It is the exact same photo. When you go to that page, it's the... Oh, no, sorry. No, it is not the same photo. I could have swore it was when I looked earlier, but it is different, so I take that back. But the Rogue Olympic plates, we're going to look at buying a set of these. What do you think a pair of 45s today of the Rogue Olympic plates is $163?
Okay, yeah.
What do you think a pair of 45s for the Rogue Olympic plates was in 2015?
You said they were what now?
163 today. What were they back in the day?
Couldn't have been that much cheaper than that, I would guess. So I'll say 150, that it was almost the same again.
Back in the day, they were 105.
Oh.
So that's pretty cheap. They were
barely
over $1
a
pound new then.
That's
which
pretty
is
good.
Kind of surprising.
Yeah.
And the smaller weights get even crazier. Like today, where is it? Like today, a pair of 25s is 82. Actually, no, these are closer. Back then, today a pair of 85s is 82, or 25s is $82. Back then, a pair of 25s was $64. So like those are kind of close. A pair of 5s today is $24. A pair of 5s used to be $15. So, I mean, you really do see it the most on those bigger ones where it is, I mean, they've gone up 50% in 10 years on the weight plates.
Right.
So that one surprised me a little bit. We're going to say one final piece here. You got a home gym.
Bars, plates, racks.
Maybe you want to do a little cardio.
I thought you were going to say core stall mats.
I actually thought about loading the Wayback Machine to see if the Tractor Supply had the horse stall mats.
Supply, what
and
horse
like, you know what, they were
mats
probably the same friggin' price. They probably haven't changed in 10 years. I did that thought getting across my mind. So I did go to the endurance section of the old Rogue website, and their options for endurance were a couple of Concept 2 rowers, a True Form runner, a Concept 2 ski erg, and the Assault air bike. Rogue had not entered any products into this line yet. So we're going to say you want to get a Concept 2 rower, the black one, just like we have in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's the Model D. That's what the picture looks like. Today,
I was worried it'd be the Concept 1 back in 2015, but it was already the Concept 2.
No. They've already moved on to 2. So today, a Concept 2 rower
What is it? $900?
$990.
Almost a thou. Almost an even
Just
thou.
about a G on that sucker.
Almost a rack. How much is a rack?
It's isn't 1,000
Is
a
that
band?
10,000?
1,000?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. 1,000 is that a band? Okay.
I think. So what is it today, Tanner?
Oh, what is it today? You
Yeah.
have that then.
Yeah.
Oh, today, what was it in 2015?
Or sorry. Yep. Today
what was-
a
it was
rower
almost
is
$1,000.
$990. What was a rower 10 years ago?
$890.
$900.
Okay.
So that one in 10 years has gone up 10%.
10%.
It has been lower than inflation. And
Right.
presumably it's a better product today because they've been making it for 10 more years and it's
Right. Although this may be worth considering. We're 10 years in the future, and I'm not sure where exactly this changed, but I know at some point in time there's a bit of an issue because there's been a little bit of a cultural shift where, in fact, not everyone agrees with this. It could be a sticking point for some people, but we actually used to be a proper country.
actually, Tanner, say it louder for the people in the back.
We used to be a proper damn country. Damn it.
That's right. Here, I got one more for you really quick here. Let's do an assault air bike. What do you think an assault? Okay, today an assault air bike is $699. What do you think an assault air bike was 10 years ago?
$599?
$999. They've lowered the price $300 in 10 years.
It's like big screen television.
It's just like that.
Yeah.
So that basically wraps up my price comparison shopping. I mean, you could do this all day, and I was like going down the rabbit hole, being like, I've actually spent way too much time just looking at this. But my takeaway is that no, actually, gym equipment really hasn't gotten that expensive as much as people like to say it has. I just don't see it here. And maybe the Wayback Machine's tricking me and they're pulling prices from another time, but it doesn't appear to be the case.
I guess the only thing I'd say is there's between now and then there's certainly got to be way more options. So you quit comparing apples to apples and you start comparing apples to oranges. And sure, it's more expensive now because there's probably a way bigger pool of various premium options that you could spend more money on. But that's because you're buying something different. It's not necessarily
because you're buying a Rogue FM6 twin stack. Like that didn't exist back then. Like you couldn't spend $6,000 at Rogue if you wanted to back then.
Right. But, so it's not like the product it's a better, more expensive product that's been created. So, yeah,
that's just I really thought we were gonna being like, oh man, because sometimes I'll listen to some car podcasts and they'll do a similar game to this where they talk about, look at these supercar prices in 2008 during the recession when no one had money, and it's like, oh, that car that costs over $1 million today, they were trying to sell it for $150,000 then. Like, what a world. And I was waiting for that same thing to happen here. And it's like, no, that actually was not the case. One other thing of note, the farthest back that I could find on Rogue, their first hints of having any type of racks in March of 2010, when I went to the racks and platform section of the website, it wouldn't load any pictures. So all I got was text. But they have the Legend Power Rack, the Legend Power Rack 5, the Legend Power Cage, the Legend Peg Squat Rack, Legend Power Station. So I'm assuming Rogue wasn't making their own stuff yet, so they were just selling Legend stuff. But what was interesting there was in 2010, a Legend Power Rack, it says the industry standard Power Rack, good for pretty much anything you can think of. That was $785. That is really cheap, but also I'm very curious. I don't think that that's the rack that we think of it as today either.
Right. Probably not. Wow. Yeah. So interesting that maybe not everything is as it seems. Maybe we're all wake up, sheeple. That's what I'm thinking. Wake up, sheeple.
All you sheep out there listening to Big Jim, wishing that things used to be cheap back in the day. No, it's cheap today.
I've got a little spin on this game for you. Right now, today, we have 58 products on the Massenomics.com shop.
Oh, okay.
In April of 2017, so just about 8 years ago,
April
how many
17.
products do you think we had on the Massenomics shop?
6? 5?
No, we had 15.
What, really?
Yeah, we had 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of them were kind of like upper body garments, and then we had 5 hats and the OG banner.
I forget about the hats. Yes.
Yeah, we had a lot of hats. So the real game though here, the Weekend Warrior shirt. How much do you think we were selling that for in April of 2017?
Was it 22? 24?
$21.99.
$21.99. $22. Damn.
The Weekend Warrior shirt. Now get this. We also had the OG red tee and the OG black tee and the numero uno tee. How much do you think those were?
Oh.
You're not going to guess.
Were they 18?
$15.99.
No, $15.99? Man, that was definitely not a business then.
No, that wasn't a bit. We were
we just wanted
okay.
people to buy the stuff.
We had a crew.
$15.99. That's crazy.
We had the black crew neck sweatshirt with the Massenomics M embroidery on it in the chest.
Oh yeah, yep, that's right.
Chest.
Yep.
How much do you think that was?
28.
$24.99.
Wow, a $24 sweatshirt, $25 sweatshirt.
Maybe more interestingly, hats. How much do you think the hats were? I don't know if it's more interesting.
Were they 24?
Yeah, they were 25.
25.
So actually,
okay.
like the hats haven't had to change as much as
yeah,
the
hats
shirts
always
had.
kind of cost some money. So,
Do you remember the 45 team jersey? Just to comprehensively cover almost everything on the site. The
oh yeah,
white
so
and black.
of course I remember. Yes.
Yeah. How much do you think that was?
22.
$19.99.
Wow, cheap.
Yeah, we weren't making any money off of anything, and we weren't selling anything also. So kind of a.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you know what's weird is because I was trying to type in Massenomics here too, and it must be some, and it could just have
something shows up way too far back.
Yeah, in 2010 and 2011, something
Yeah.
shows up, and I'm like, oh, was there something there? But I think it might just be getting its wires crossed.
Yeah, that must be a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah. Wow. Old.
I mean,
Massenomics.
basically, though, if I could sum that up in 7 words, you know what I would say?
We used to be back when gym equipment was expensive. That's when we used to be a proper country. It's too damn cheap now.
You know what our most recent article was?
Well,
in
you know what
April
I
of
would say in
2017?
4 words, actually, Tanner?
Yeah.
I would say it's science. It's Massenomics.
Now, that's what we would have said in 2017. Want to know what our most recent article was?
Yeah, what is it? I'm
It was
trying to
from
load
March
it right
29th. It was the CrossFit Open's top 10 finishers.
now. Because of course it was.
And on March 24th, it was 'twas the night before the state powerlifting meet. But in March 19th, Arnold Roundup interviews. In February of 2016, it was a shoulder rock review. In January, it was give your beginner self one piece of advice. In January 9th, 2017, the story of Pioneer belts crafted in America.
Where make your belt, not our belt, or that was born.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But we were pumping out like 3 articles a month here.
That's pretty good. God, when I think Arnold interviews from that time, it's like, oh, we were so close. We basically had the format there. We just didn't quite just get the bigger picture well enough.
We just didn't keep at it.
We were all too new to the content game to really get it.
Yeah. So that is fun. That's a fun site.
Yeah. So you'd never heard of that before?
No. I've never heard of that. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Little internet time machine. The
It's
Wayback
a little
Machine.
It's a little clunky, but
It is slow, but I'm assuming just the sheer number of things they have saved, it's probably
right servers and stuff.
yeah. But man, I don't think of the Massenomics website as being overly sophisticated today, But when I compare it to back in the day, I'm like, no, it looks pretty good nowadays in
Right.
Not that it does not look bad for back then for what it was, but
no, this 8 years ago was not too bad.
no, definitely better now though.
Yeah, it is better now.
God,
Definitely is better
$18
now.
shirts, just crazy. Actually, the craziest part is probably not making a whole lot more money selling $32 shirts now than we were selling $18.
I mean,
shirts
we've
then.
talked about that behind the scenes. Is we used to be a proper freaking country, is what's been going on, and now our shirts are freaking expensive, too freaking expensive, and that is. I mean, maybe it's be hard to remember the math from all the way that far, but there's not like our pricing changes are just to try and make the same.
We
per
don't.
unit.
We talked.
Yeah.
You and me were talking about this when we were selling shirts for like $24 and $28. We were making the same or more than we do selling T-shirts for $32 now.
It will be interesting if we even become less of a proper country and like if our shirt prices go up. And when I say our, I mean basically everyone that's doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the interesting thing. If it not even just us, but like if prices go up, how does this like that gets tough to make that work?
Oh, I mean,
at a certain
like,
point.
Like if we were proportionally running this how we used to and how you probably should, like we should be selling like $40-some T-shirts, but
Right.
who the hell's going to buy $40-some T-shirts? And that's why so many apparel companies don't work anymore, because if it's an actual business where you're making money, you don't really make money unless you're charging a lot more.
Yeah. That's right. I wrote down bully here, and I cannot for the life of me
Yeah, I was
remember
wondering
what
what
that was. I know it wasn't like being a bully, because I remember when I wrote it, I'm like, oh, it's throwing. I'm like, this will throw them off, and it threw you off so well that it actually threw me
It
off.
wasn't in
completely.
reference to the former Aberdeen restaurant Bully's Tap House. Or Bully's Taps.
We need to talk about the Wayback machine to remember that one. That building doesn't exist anymore.
No, it do not.
No, it wasn't that. I'm just going to check that off because I can tell I'm never going to remember what that was.
Okay.
I bet it was good, though.
It probably would have been a banger.
Yeah. All right. What else do we want to touch on this week?
You have MRI on there. What's that about?
No, not that interesting. It was just I heard, I think it was I can't remember what podcast I was listening to, and they were talking about MRIs. And I've just heard a lot of times about how people, they're like, hate doing MRIs, or they don't like doing MRIs, that sort of thing, like that you're
Like
going
going into the machine.
Yeah, going into the machine and stuff like that. And I might have even talked about it on here. I've had a few, maybe 3 or 4, and I love it every time. It's so relaxing.
Oh,
and
really?
It's just like a chance to almost take a nap.
Isn't it really loud though?
Yeah, but they give you earbuds.
Uh-huh.
No, wait, they put earplugs in you, and then they put headphones over the top of your ears, and then they play music in your ears too.
So you're pretty insulated from it all.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you hear there's so much banging noise.
That's what
I've
I
always
thought-
wondered.
Yeah,
I'm like, what is in there doing that? Like, is it just hammers that are inside of this machine beating on things? Why does it have to make that noise? But no, it's kind of like because it's so muffled, there's a lot of noise, but because
Kinda like
it's
white
so
noise.
muffled. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of like white noise almost.
Hmm.
But that's one thing I'm not afraid of, I guess. I'm not claustrophobic, maybe hardly at all, because but I could be if it was a scary situation.
Yeah,
if there was actually a reason to be like, if you're like, no, we're gonna stuff you in the back of the trunk, and
Right.
I'd be
Or
like,
we're
well,
gonna
then I'm
we're gonna
claustrophobic.
Throw you in this little cave in the mountains. Like, I'm like,
Right.
oh, maybe I don't think I would
Like-
like that.
But like at an MRI, for example, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I feel perfectly safe. Like I'm like, if
In this safe little tunnel at the doctor's office.
right.
Yeah.
There, I have like 3 people staring at me the entire time. I don't think anything super bad's gonna happen. In here,
yeah.
So, that was it. Just I'm like, that's not. But I guess people are afraid of different things, right?
Supposedly.
That's what they say. Well, that being said, we used to be a proper country, and I don't think people used to be afraid of that stuff back when we were a proper country, and everyone didn't get all pussified like they are now.
Everyone was a bunch of pussies. Ah!
Let's go get those nerds. We were on the Let's Get Stupid podcast
We were
last night. This is 2 nights in a row of podcasting.
Is true. We do, and we were on that one for like an hour and 45 minutes too, which is a long episode for them, isn't it? They don't go that long very often, do they?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think very often.
And we could if we wanted to, we could have made that go way longer. But yeah, you can tell
that was a fun time. So give that a listen if you haven't. That one came out already. So go. Little bonus Massenomics content on the Let's Get Stupid podcast.
Finn was excited about the thumbnail, and then I saw it come out today, and I knew why he was. Did you see the thumbnail for it?
Yeah, what was it? A picture of both of us on there and calling us home gym nerds?
Yeah, home gym nerds, yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Do you want to hear about plural possessive finally?
I do want to. I was hoping you'd bring that up. I just didn't want to get disappointed and say you weren't ready for it.
No, this has been in a little bit of a lurch for the last several weeks. We haven't really had this, but I think this is the week that we finally talk about plural possessives. And my main thing on plural possessives is, what the hell?
It's not easy, is it?
It is. I think that nobody actually knows for sure what to do with plural possessive. There are no rules. It's the Wild West.
There's got to be very, very few people that are actually confident in their answer. There might be people that think they know, but they're definitely second-guessing themselves all the time.
Plural possessives are one of the most confusing things.
Did this come from writing certified home gym things, or where did this come from?
It wasn't even that. I think it was actually Tyler Effenston E. He had replied to a story on Instagram one time, and he called us like I cannot remember what it was even, but he said he referenced to something, and it wasn't Elon Musk, but it was somebody's name that ended weird, and he said, "You guys are the Elon Musks of something." And that wasn't it. It was a more confusing example than that. And then he, in parentheses after that, he said, "That's supposed to be plural possessive. I don't know how to write it." And like, I totally got it, because I'm like, I don't know either. Like, I know what I know what your point is, but I also don't know how you're supposed to write it.
Yeah, because it's probably someone's name that ended in an S.
Right.
It's like the Bill Gateses of
it might have been something like that. Yeah. Might have been that could have even been it. I just can't remember.
Do I add an extra apostrophe, or so I think I need an apostrophe, but do I add an extra S, or does the apostrophe symbolize that?
Sometimes the apostrophe just straight up goes at the end, right?
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like, but then like I can't. The way I want to verbally say that doesn't make sense for the way it's written. You know, like because
it's not just possessive, it's also plural. So yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, I'd really have to study up on that to feel confident about anything I would say there.
But I think the takeaway is nobody needs to study up on that. Nobody really gets it. So everything's safe. You can just put the S's and apostrophes where
anyway, use as many as you want back to back. No one can call you out. I thought for sure this would have been in reference to you having to write all the certified gym certificates. And I'm like, maybe that situation came up where you're like, I don't know how to actually address this one.
There was it was on Perfect Little Sweeties. I was actually writing out Perfect Little Sweeties, and my wife was because I put that one on the Instagram story. I'm like, hey, record me writing out Perfect Little Sweeties certificate, and she busted me on something. She's like, no, you need an apostrophe here, and I'm like, well, he doesn't write the apostrophe there. No. And she's like, well, there's supposed to be one. And what it must have been his. What would it have been? Perfect
Little
L-I-L well, and I had it there. I know I had that. On Sweeties, because it was Perfect Little Sweeties Gym.
Oh yeah, that was.
And you know, like if you read his stuff, he doesn't have an apostrophe. You know, an apostrophe, and she made me put it on the Perfect Little Sweeties, because Sweeties Gym.
Yep.
So I did. That's not my plural possessive example, is it? Not really. I don't actually.
I mean, but that would be one where I would think twice, because it's like, do I do the correct thing, or do I do how they write it too? Though, like I would be myself there.
Right, yeah. But plural possessive, that's for the freaking birds.
It ain't easy.
It ain't easy being cheesy.
No,
that's what I've always said. All right. Should we kind of wrap this one up for this week, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I will say I did get to lift at Massenomics Gym while I was back.
Yeah.
And
that was fun.
It was fun. It's always good to lift there again. Now, like, it used to actually feel like a huge difference when I was lifting at a commercial gym. It's like, oh, this stuff is so nice. And everything is
real equipment
is really nice, but it's like, well, but I also have nice stuff at home, so it doesn't feel as crazy anymore.
Right.
But I did want to add that, man, training is getting hard again. Like, I just went through such a long stretch of, I couldn't hit it really hard because I was just building back into things. Like, I knew in my head I could go harder, but I just, like, my body wasn't able to produce the force to lift harder yet.
Right.
And now, like, squatting and deadlifting, it's like 4 plates are going on pretty much every workout. And even bench is, even a hard bench day.
You
is not that
deadlifted
hard.
465 for a triple.
Yeah, I did that for a triple. And then when I was at Massenomics, I did 445 for 4 on my top set on squat. And it's like, this is
that was
like,
a good set too.
It's been a really long time, but it's reminding me, I'd kind of forgot about this, there was like a 5-year stretch of lifting in Massenomics where we were running on pure adrenaline for like 5 straight years of lifting. And it was like, no, just like, you got the caffeine going. You got 20 people yelling at you. The music's going full blast.
You're like, no, I can somehow still get the 4 reps.
And the Jackals program you cannot miss. Like everything was just clicking. And dude, I remember there was so many years there where, like, on days, because you got so in tune with the program, you're like, oh yeah, like I've looked at it for so long. It's like week
6, I have 5 by 3
week 3
heavy
and week
squat.
6 are going to kick my ass. And I remember, like, those weeks, like the last hour of the workday, it's like, that's all I could think about. It's like my lift that because I'm like, I got to bring my A game
brutal.
today. Like, this is going to be I'm going to go get my ass kicked tonight. Like, this is going to be really hard, but I can't miss this. I have to hit these. And there was like that anxiety there. And, I don't have, and that was also because you didn't have anything else to think about. So, like, all you cared about then was lifting. Also, it's like, I didn't have like family issues.
Lifting and drinking is all I know.
Lifting and drinking was all I knew then. That's not an exaggeration. That was all I knew. And now, I have other things that I'm like, well, there's like a lot of things that are higher up on the priority list than this, but still, like, when I know it's one of those big days, it's like kind of in the back of my mind. And now when I go to lift, I'm like, oh man, like, this is getting heavy. Like, I could definitely miss this if I'm not like totally dialed in, feeling 100% focused. Like, a lift would not be out of the question, or a miss would not be out of the question. And got to bring the A game now. So lifting is getting hard.
A wise man once told us, if you can't still get it up for one big set, you might as well just start throwing the dirt on us now.
That's what it is. And it's not even really the one big set. It's sometimes the multiple sets is really what starts to catch you.
That is what it actually gets you. Yeah.
It is the focus. That's what it is. Focus. That's all is just like, can I 100% just be mentally committed to this for, the 30 seconds it takes? And it sounds dumb. It's like, well, it's 30 seconds, but you really do got to be dialed in once things start getting heavier again. And it takes it out of you. It takes some time.
Yeah, that's true. And also training with JUGGERNAUT AI, working like a champ.
It is. It's going good. I was though. I had to. One of the great parts of having the chalkboard, the PR chalkboard at Massenomics Gym, is if you were one of the first people ever to put your name on it, it means your name is 10 feet up in the air, so it'll probably never be erased. And I could have went back on my computer and probably found my Excel training logs from back then. But I did take a picture. So, because you were asking me, is this an all-time PR? And I'm like, yeah, it's got to be really close. The 445 for a set of 4. Yeah. And on the PR board, I had.
Did you have 455 for a set of 5 or something like that?
So on the PR board, biggest squat I did in the gym was 530. Biggest squat in a meet was 540. But in the gym, I had done 450 for 5 sets of 3. Which when I saw that, I'm like, really, 450 for 5 sets of 3? Man, I don't remember that. And then I did 430 for a 5x5, which.
That'd be tough.
I did have an Instagram video of that one, so I knew that was a thing, but that's a lot of volume, 430 for a 5x5. But when I see that now, I'm like, well, a year ago, I'd have been like, those numbers will never happen again.
Yeah.
And now I'm like,
well, you just did more weight than that for a set of, like.
I did. Now that I see those numbers, I'm like, well, that's like it still is out, but that's not in the realm of impossibility here.
Right. No, not at all.
It's not crazy to think that actually Juggernaut might start getting me pretty close to those in the next 6 months here.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is wild to think about. It's been a very long road on.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
And on the deadlift side, even my all-time best set, 485 for 2 sets of 5. I know I did like 505 for like a double, but but for like volume and sets, 485 for 2 sets of 5. I'm like, that's actually doesn't seem that far away either.
You did a good set of 465 for a triple.
And that was, and that day I felt bad, but I'm like, I have to get the lift in today because I'm gonna be gone for a few days and like I'll be so far behind. So I had to make it happen. And I got done with that. And I've never, so I did that 465 for, 465 for, was it triple? Is that what we just said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did 465 for a triple. And I can tell you that I don't know if there was ever a time where I pulled over 450 where I didn't have some type of back stiffness, like my back muscles would always be like tight and crampy and sore the next day. And I never, ever get that anymore. Like no back pump ever, anything. And so for sure, the best I've ever been feeling after a day of a 450 heavy plus deadlift.
Yeah. And we also got to shoot like 3 YouTube videos too.
We did. We shot 3 videos. We shot some other kind of random Instagram videos.
A skit that we posted today, like the tip skit that went out today.
The tip skit. I like that name.
That was a little bit of an experiment to see how that sort of thing
does it do anything
could work. And it did. It wasn't a flop and it wasn't a home run. Like it did decently well.
Okay, I'm just looking here. Yeah, all right, because I didn't check it until like right when it went, but yeah, it did okay.
Yeah, it's got over 10,000 views. There's 44 comments on it. So it didn't do nothing because I knew there's a chance out there that it might actually do nothing. So, and it didn't do that, but it also certainly didn't go viral or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's funny. It's funny to me. Obviously, we think it's funny. You know, we came up with it.
I just thought of this right now when I was looking. You also posted a video. We looked at this Blazed Fitness power bar. I was watching a Garage Gym Reviews video today where Coop was talking about Rogue and Rep alternatives, and he said the word blazed.
Oh.
Or blazed.
Oh, is that what it's supposed to be
I
then?
don't know, though. Is it?
Yeah, we'll have to, we recorded that video. If that's what it's supposed to be, then we'll have to put an asterisk over it and be like, we said blazed 20 times. It's actually blazed. We actually even joked about that. Like, is it blazed? And we thought, nah, it can't be blazed. It has to be blazed.
I don't. Is it though? Like, how would you say BLAZZED? That is really funny. That, yeah, we thought about it for a second, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah. I guess maybe we said it wrong.
Yeah, well, you can't have it all.
No, that's true. There's something else I was going to say about when you...
we shot some of those videos, a couple of funny ones.
I don't know.
Yeah, got some lifting in. Got to check out some of the new stuff in the gym. I hadn't been to the gym since the meet, so I got to finally see some of the new things.
Right, new and improved.
The wall of dumbbells, the Smith machine. Got to use some of the other equipment, compare it to what I've been used to using now. So it was
some new horse stall mats.
I got to see. Actually, that area does look so good now, though. Like
you got to see the new horse stall mats.
That area looks really. The horse stall mats look great over there with the dumbbell racks. That preacher curl, that Cybex one. That thing is a tank. That thing is so nice. Yeah. That is a really nice area over there. It looks good.
And you've probably seen these before in the gym, but something else I really like is our Strength Co. plates. They're made in America. Oh, yeah. They're black. They're E-coated. They're the best plates that are out there, quite plain and simple. It's probably one of the go-to aspects of Massenomics Gym. I would even put them above the horse stall mats.
Wow. You're saying that, You're going to just
maybe
go there?
Of best pieces of equipment in the gym, maybe the Strength Co. plates are 1A, horse stall mats are 1B. Something like that.
You said it.
Yeah. If you want to check out their plates, check them out at thestrength.co. They also have bumper plates. They have barbells, several other things. And I ordered their cast iron pan.
You got that yet?
12-inch cast iron pan. It showed up today, actually.
Did you say honey, look what you can cook with.
And then she picked it up and she said, why I oughta. And she was chasing me with a frying pan. Yeah. If you got hit in the head by this thing, you might be dead.
I was assuming it looks pretty heavy duty.
You would not want your wife to hit you in the head with this frying pan. I'll tell you that much. But you can buy one now. They are for sale and they are shipping at thestrength.co.
This episode is also brought to you by Barefoot Shoes. Tanner and I are big fans of Barefoot Shoes. Right now, Tanner, have you seen this new colorway they got on the website?
Yeah, it's like
the
black.
Royal Bloodlines. It's like a dark navy and a maroon. And the gum sole, it's pretty sharp. I like that look.
I like that one.
Barefoot Shoes, they make a lot of great shoes. They're always adding in new colors. That's why we always like to pull it up, because they're always surprising us with new colorways for their different styles. They have low tops, high tops. They got boots. They got Made in America boots. And they recently have added a new style to their shoe options. They got a little thicker sole. It's on pre-order right now. It would be the Ursus version 2 available or Gen 2 available in a high top or low top. Kind of bridges the gap between the original barefoot shoe and a more traditional sneaker. It just kind of splits the difference there. So if you want that look but still want maybe a little bit more of that sneaker sole, sneaker look, this gets you there. So if you head on over to barefoot.store and use code Massenomics, you can save 10% on your next order. That's barefoot.store, code Massenomics. We'll save you 10%. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
Thanks, Barefoot. The old Sons of Guns up there. Give us a comment on YouTube on this episode. Let us know what equipment have you seen that has gone up drastically in price in the last 10 years? What did we
There's got to be something.
miss?
What do you think has gone?
Yeah.
I mean, we did say weights have gone up a lot. What do you think has gone up a lot? What do you think we did miss? There's got to be something that's gone up a lot.
Yeah, there's got to be some stuff. Some people leave us comments. Everyone, look up horse stall mat pricing in your local area, and please post that as a comment. What the horse stall?
Call
you can go
call
get
your local
horse stall
Tractor
mats
Supply.
for.
Get the longest running employee there. There's definitely a guy that's worked there for like 30 years. Ask him what those used to be 30 years ago.
He's like, just tell him, hello, sir. He's like, yeah. You remember when we used to be a proper country? And be like, oh, hell yeah, I did.
I'll never forget.
I couldn't think about it all the time. We used to be a proper damn country. And then they say, can you go check the horse stall map pricing of when we used to be a proper country? And he'd be like, damn it, yes, I will for you. For you, I will do that. And then we'll find out. Leave us a comment. Like the video. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We're about ready to get on the road to 600 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. So your review will matter. It will count.
Do you think horse stall mats were ever? Do you think horse stall mats were ever $20? Seems really cheap, doesn't it?
Horses might not have been around yet at the time when they were $20. That's how long ago it was that
they were just mats.
They were just stall mats. They were just
no
horses to put on them.
You just had to go to a flooring store and buy them.
Those were invented for gyms. They're actually, the guy that invented them, his name was Horstall.
Yeah. His last name was...
It's Horstall. It's not Horstall mats. They're the Horstal mats, because it was Jim Horstal that came up
Matthew,
with those.
but he reversed it. Matthew Horstal.
Like they're not named after mats that you put on their horses. It was the guy's name.
Like, people that own horses are like, wait, you think we put those in our horse barns? We're worth like we're worth like $100 million. We own horses. You think we're gonna buy these shitty mats from Tractor Supply?
Like, those things, those smell like rubber. Those would make our horse trailers stink like rubber.
My championship horse would be pissed if he had to take a shit on that thing.
It's like those seams, they expand and contract in the changes of the weather. There's going to be gaps in between them if you laid them next to each other.
Yeah, you think we got time to put Gorilla Tape between those? Do you know how hard it is to move equipment across a horse stall mat? We couldn't put those in our horse barn. It turns out like no one actually wants.
We use bare concrete floors, of course. What do you think we're going to take the time to? And then how would we clean it once we have all these horse stall mat gaps?
You know how much shit gets under and in the cracks of horse stall mats? Like, no, that is just a straight up liability to have those things around.
It's gonna smell like horse shit in here for ages. If we had it, like the whole bottom of it is just gonna be horse shit.
Yeah, turns out no horse owner has ever had a horse stall mat.
I like to think that's true.
We've just been tricked this whole time.
Yes. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Bear. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.